And let's start with Sue and then Gloria, please.
Okay, well, my immediate update is I fell and broke my hip, and so things have been a little crazy in my life. But it seems to be, they did surgery. It seems like it's healing okay.
What's going on? Sorry.
So it's just a process.
Can you type on the computer?
Yeah,
Oh, good. Well, that's
yeah,
a big
it's
part
my
of
hip,
it.
not my arm.
Oh, I thought you said you hurt your hand.
No, hip.
Oh, okay.
All righty. Gloria and then Robin.
Well, the main thing that's been making me crazy running around was getting our premiere of our anti-war kind of science fiction play that's going to be on YouTube, and it's the world premiere.
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the Crystal Egg. I'll be putting it up on Disarm, whether they want it or not.
And where are you, Gloria?
Where am I? I'm in outer space, actually. No, here in Tucson.
Okay, thanks.
And I'm in Humboldt, California.
All right then, get it official. Robin and then Teresa.
Okay, I'm from Burlington, Vermont. I'm driving back to Burlington after being in Rochester, Vermont, setting up some of the things for our gathering that will be happening from August 10th to 14. And Teresa is going to be one of our key people, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Great.
That sounds wonderful. Teresa.
Thank you, George. I'm a bit in a low mood. I'm having such awful affordable housing challenges. However, the most wonderful thing happened on Tuesday. Jan Quarterman, who is on this driving vacation where she drove from Des Moines to New Orleans and then drove over from New Orleans to Columbus to meet with members of the Fannie Lou Hamer branch, and she bought us lunch at Chili's. So we have a great photo that we took that I'm looking so fat in, I don't want to show to anybody. But she's agreed to help with the New York City stop of the tour, because she has a list of all of those New Yorkers who could consolidate a branch. So we may be restarting the New York City branch after many, many years. And so it's very great to see how committed Jan is to the branch building process, which I really attribute to our 3-year strategic plan that we started. It's hard to believe that we're halfway through it, but we are. So I'm looking forward to that conversation when we get to that item on the agenda.
Thanks, Teresa. So I'll go quickly. I'm George in Southern Piedmont, the very Southern Piedmont, since I'm a stone's throw away from South Carolina now. I live in Shelby, and I'm very grateful to be in this wonderful house. If you look at the before pictures from the renovation of this house, it feels like they rebuilt it in many ways. But it's awesome, and I'm glad to be here. This has been a really hard week. On Sunday, someone I love as I do my brother died. I haven't seen him in years in Milwaukee, and that's been hard. So being in grief is just surreal. And yesterday afternoon, my nephew, who I raised from 8 to 20, was in a car accident and broke his hip, Sue.
Ah!
The part they call the he said this morning, the wing. So, you know, the upper.
Oh, yeah,
core-
yeah, the upper part of the pelvis. Yeah.
Yeah, so his pelvis, he broke his pelvis. And we thought there was going to be surgery. He went home today. I'm concerned that not having insurance is one of the reasons they hustled him out without necessarily doing surgery. He goes back next Friday. He'll be out of work for 4 to 6 weeks. I used Instacart to send him some groceries to his house. His girlfriend will be taking care of him, and just lots of prayers, and I'll see him when I can. So, Teresa's news was so great and wonderful. I'm sorry I had stuff to say that was significantly less great and wonderful, but it's life. I'm glad to be alive. I know that the older I get, the more friends I love who are older will leave, and I will have to deal. So here's our agenda. Let's spend a bit of time, if need be, to add or subtract anything. I don't think there's anything to subtract. And we're right at like 65 minutes on this agenda if we keep to it. So unless there's anything someone feels we absolutely need to add to this agenda, we're going to follow it. Thoughts?
Okay.
Okay, I'm not hearing anything. So I'm now going
Looks
to put up
fine to me.
the 3-year strategy chart, and we're going to together look at this timeline that we're in now. We're in July 2023 to December 2024. And in December, this strategy chart, which is 92% the brain of Teresa Elamine and 8% the typing of George Friday. Let's look at our goals and strategic objectives and activities. So our goals that we have, that we've made some adjustments to, is to work on reparation ordinances. Originally, we had 20 branch cities. We've adjusted that at the moment to 10. And knowing that the UN Decade and Reparations AHR subcommittee takes lead on that. Having by the end of December 2024, 300 new members nationwide is on track. We are over 100 or 150 now. And originally our goal was that 20 branches participate in anti-racism transformation, or ART, which we'll talk about today. Something that in the last cycle, I was not capable or able, or I fell through on getting that moving. So now we've adjusted to 9 branches participate in the anti-racism training. So these goals lead to some strategic objectives, one hopes. The strategic objectives here that we have are WILF US and board is a BIPOC majority by December 2024. Right now, out of 8 active members on the board, 3 of us are African American. Philip Cole, Martha Collins, and myself. Also, a strategic objective by the end of December 2024 is no branch has less than 3 BIPOC members. And that our participation in the Global Women for Peace United Against NATO increases and continues. So now let's check out our activities that are helping to reach these goals and these strategic objectives. So 2 weekends ago now, I think it is, there was the Global Women for Peace United Against NATO event in Brussels. We also participated online with webinars. Teresa planned and I moderated a webinar on NATO in Africa with people who are living in or from Africa, doing different levels of political work and leading some very significant struggles. One of our speakers was former member of parliament in South Africa. She's fantastic. She spoke about BRICS and the importance of BRICS. When I send out the recording of our meeting today, I will send you the recording of that webinar. Another webinar we participated in was the US, Africa, and NATO. No, I'm sorry, US, Canada, and NATO. That was at a logical time of 10 in the morning instead of 7:30. The 6-hour time difference made it quite challenging. And there were even WILF folks from the West Coast at our NATO and Africa webinar, which would be 4:30 in the morning for them. Amazing. So some of the other activities here, I'm sure you've read. July 18th, hopefully y'all were on that webinar, international webinar or Zoom on NATO. I'm sorry, on the Ukraine-Russian conflict. Also, as Teresa told us about, Jan's visit to the Fannie Lou Hamer branch was on the 18th. Yesterday, the 19th, I participated in and am now part of the Militarism Peace Hub for September 17th Climate March. That's going to happen in New York. And that planning process is led by Code Pink and Beyond Extreme Energy. In a couple of days, we'll have our board meeting. I'll be at that board meeting. And coming up in August from the 8th to the 15th, the tour, the UN Decade Reparations No to NATO tour of the Northeast, that Southern Anti-Racism Network and Teresa will be headlining. That climate march is September 17th in New York. From September 30th to October 8th is Peace Week. December, I may have the wrong Saturday here, but one Saturday in early September, the Fannie Lou Hamer branch will have its 3rd annual Human Rights Conference. Next year, July 9th to the 11th, NATO will have its 75th anniversary meeting in DC. And under activities also is for us to maintain relationships with WILF sections in Africa. Any comments or questions?
I have my hand up.
Sorry, I can't see hands when I'm sharing the screen.
You know, I can't see any sharing. I'm seeing
Yeah, the screen is, you're not sharing your screen actually.
I'm seeing a huge picture of Sue, which is nice, but oh,
there.
suddenly I'm seeing it. Yes.
I was assuming y'all were reading this. I wish somebody
I
said
would have
something.
interrupted, but I didn't think you wanted to be interrupted. So
Wow. Oh
Okay.
man, Teresa really does feel bad if she didn't tell me, because she would have usually. 100% Teresa, I would have heard. But I see now, Teresa's hand is up, and I don't know who else is, but I saw 2 before, but now I only see Teresa's. So
Well, there was Robin or Gloria before me because I just put mine up.
It was
So,
Gloria.
Robin, and then Gloria, and then Teresa. Robin?
Okay, I did not have my hand up. I just want to say that's a terrific report you gave, George, and wonderful to be aware of all that's happening. Thank you.
Well, if there's more happening, we need to add it under activities. Gloria?
my hand was up because of not being able to see.
Okay.
That
Can
was
everyone
all.
read what you need to read? Do I need to make it larger?
Oh, there is one more thing I think we should maybe add, which is that WILF is having this sort of, US WILF is having this sort of gather, I think on the 18th and 19th of August.
Gathering, that's right. Okay. I will add that. And also, while I'm adding that, y'all check out the branch partners and the individual allies list.
I have a question. George,
Gloria.
could you send an invitation to the head of our branch to join the Allies and Anti-Racism Transformation Partners? I can send you her email.
Okay, why wouldn't you ask her?
Well, I think she just kind of gets so many emails from me. I think they just kind of, she spaces half of them out, but you know how I am sending stuff all the time.
Point of order, allies.
Sorry, Teresa.
I was next on the stack.
That's right.
So that weird thing that sometimes happens among allies where everybody just starts ignoring the order of business. And I'm just not in a good place today uh, to really um, deal with that. But what I wanted to say as the person who came up with these kind of ideas around us collaborating in the manner that we've started to. One of the things that George and I have talked about is the importance of what the UN decade is really about, which is recognition, justice, and development. And if we could put those driving principles on this wonderful 108-year-old organization as part of what we really are trying to do by building this collaboration, which is making history. So what George and I have talked about, and I'm just so appreciative of how enthusiastic George has given a report about the chart, because it is something that we're pretty proud of, because what the chart is doing, it is documenting the history of wealth in a certain period. And that's the view, Gloria, and others who are history buffs and who are good at documenting things of importance. I know Robin has that skill and that appreciation, and Gloria does as well. But what we are really doing, Gloria, is that we are looking to allies to really step up. And so it's important, Gloria, that you connect and integrate yourself into the Tucson branch
Nope.
in the kind of way that says you're involved, because it's not appropriate to ask George to do what you should be doing in
I
your
can't
own.
do it because I don't meet in person and they're forcing the issue. I want to meet by Zoom and they have the capability and they're trying to force us to meet at somebody's house and I'm not going to do it.
Well, I think we have to accept that unless we can get your friend, the one, and I'm blanking on her name, but the Black woman who joined, Emily. If we can get Emily to become involved in this process that we're doing, because we do need someone on the ground in Tucson. And the other thing I wanted to say, Gloria, that involves you is in the conversation with Jan, she mentioned about the attempts to, your desire to restart the Chicago branch. And I know we've talked about it for quite some time, but that is the probably most historic branch, since it's the branch that Jane Addams, I guess, would have been in. And so I wanted to kind of lean on you, Gloria, to say a little bit more, because when we talk about the two components of the strategy, which is recruitment, branch building, which is what I've been kind of in charge of, and George is in charge of the anti-racism transformation portion of it. And now that we're united here as BLC and EDAC, we all have to be working on these pieces, particularly the recruitment piece, because I believe that branch building is how we really transform WILF into an anti-racist organization if we're building branches in an anti-racist manner. So I just wanted to hear from you, Gloria, about what's happening with Chicago.
I guess there'll be a time where I have some time to do that.
So the answer is nothing at this point.
Oh, no, we have so much going on. I thought it'll take at least 5 minutes.
Can you make it 3?
I could probably boil it to 3.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh, right now? Okay.
Sure.
Unaccustomed as I am to boiling down, but anyway, we have a whole team now. We have about 5 people on our team. Do you know Shantae Wilson? Does anybody know her?
I think it's Shantae McLaughlin out of the Atlanta, Metro Atlanta branch.
Okay, it's I thought her name was Wilson McLaughlin. Okay. Anyway, her first name is Shantae, and I knew it began with M. So she's going to handle media from now on, but I started by doing media, and we have a person on the PBS station who promises us an interview on WTTW TV, and that is Erica Gunderson. And so we also have 2 enthusiastic supporters of the alderman from the Hull House ward and the alderman of Ward 10, which is the steel workers just south of them, the steel industrial area that Obama was working in. And so they're both enthusiastic. What we need to do is to use the techniques of Madison Avenue. I'm sorry if that offends anybody. But what we're doing is setting up weekly contacts with anybody who's interested. And we call them our Tuesday reports. And whether we have anything substantive or not, we're going to send them a reminder. Oh, we got this group now, they're on board, whatever. And so we have all these people that are starting to be involved, including the head of the AAUW, the Jane Addams branch, and that's Kate Skegg, and she's in the Chicago area. And, she knows a million people, and she's giving us a lot of tips. So things are really starting to happen. We're in negotiations with a man named Ross, I can't think of his first name, at Hull House to actually set a date for an opening event. And, I probably forgot something else important, but we definitely have different people who are handling different things. It's not just me anymore. It's a group of 5, I think. Jan is off doing she figures we were all set up, so she's not staying on it. It's other people are now on it.
That sounds really good. Teresa, I know your hand is up. Let's not spend a whole lot of time on this topic because it's, new. Go ahead.
It's about recruitment generally, George. I don't know how much time you blocked out for the strategy conversation, but it is about strategy. And I'm a bit of an expert on recruitment. And Jan is somebody who is leader in membership development and recruitment. She managed to get a branch started in Miami with a high school person. So Jan is very much involved as a key leader around recruitment in the membership development committee. And I know from experience that what Gloria just described is not branch building. And I do know Shantae, and I do know that she's not inclined to recruitment and organization building. So I know quite a few people in Chicago So when the summer is over, because I know membership development is taking the summer off and will be coming back in September. And the vehicle which should drive branch building and recruitment is the membership development committee, not some media formation that doesn't recruit people. And that's all I'll say about recruitment. But I'm still working on recruitment, and I'll continue to do that in the South, having recruited 2 new members to the Fannie Lou Hamer branch.
Shilpa Panday is on recruitment. She's one of us.
Shilpa, yeah. Shilpa has been in the role. She was in the role of membership development, and she did put together the criteria for what a branch should do. And so I'm looking forward to when the membership development committee meets so that I can remind her of what constitutes best practices of branch building.
So I'm taking this as a criticism. I did all that and you're criticizing me.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm sorry. I think you're wrong.
Well, time will tell.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Getting us to the agenda here. Now we want to have a discussion for the anti-racism transformation, one of the goals on our strategy chart, and recommendations around that. I sent out some ideas that Sue and I worked on, or I worked on and Sue refined, and want to get your thoughts about that and your recommendations. The only thing I would add, unless y'all want me to put it up for you to read again, I don't think we do need to do that. But the key pieces are BIPOC members join branches, and white members are prepared to both authentically welcome and include those new members and follow their lead and support their leadership, ultimately sharing power with these new members without all of the crap that comes with white supremacy. Gloria.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about our new BIPOC member that the head of the membership, nobody contacted her. I paid for a membership for Becky Quintero, who is Hispanic, and she runs the Children's Peace Center in South Tucson. Tucson is a very divided, segregated community, and all the Hispanics pretty much live on the south side. And just so give you some background. Anyway, so I've been going and supporting this Peace Center, and I asked Becky if she'd be interested, but nobody followed through. I was busy with other things. And now we are going to meet with Becky at the Arizona Inn for a brunch and really welcome her. And her mother is dying. She's having some other issues, but I'm very interested in Becky getting in because she would be a link to the whole south side of Tucson. It's very much like Chicago, where the north side is white and wealthy and the south side is more mixed or minority BIPOC. So this is where that had never been done in our little branch. It's about the same 6 women meeting at somebody's house. And now we're going to get somebody from South Tucson.
Wow, wonderful.
For her to be involved with our BLC, because she would be a member of BLC.
Yeah,
that would be
well,
cool.
I'll bring it up. We're going to have lunch in a week or 2.
Okay. It may be worthwhile to share the strategy chart with her. Because and this is just based on my experience, but one of the things that has been brutal to witness and then ultimately be a part of is to invite people of color into a majority white setting, and the white people have no clue even how to act right, much less how to share power. And I've been in that situation.
I've been in that situation.
And I will not be part of it. So
I will not be part of it either.
Yeah, so sometimes a hesitancy in me inviting people is knowing I'm not, what you gonna say to me afterwards? Why did you invite me to something that's such a mess, George? Okay, so I'm tripping. That's me. Any other recommendations? This might be a short conversation. Um, so recruitment, recruitment, recruitment. And Gloria, you did the right thing. Teresa Elamine taught me that you just ask people. Just
Yeah.
ask. But the other part is building the capacity within the white people to have some skills, not to be idiots. Teresa?
Well, George and I have had a number of conversations about teaching anti-racism, and adults generally learn by doing. And so the idea that there could be a class or a reading group that would be transformative has been proven, in my experience, to not really work unless you're willing to step out on that shaky ground and do the sort of thing that Gloria has been willing to do. And I must say, Gloria, I am quite impressed with your ability to step out on that shaky ground and recruit Emily, as well as the new person, to a branch where you don't really go to their meetings. That is quite impressive. But in general, around the country, very few allies are willing to step out the way Gloria has. And until the number of folks increase who are comfortable enough to make those kind of moves, it's not gonna go very far to be in a classroom type setting. So that's my comment about how we transform the organization. Robin inviting me to Rochester, Vermont, and I will bring with me the treasurer of the Fannie Lou Hamer branch. So she and I will drive over to Rochester from Providence, probably on the 11th, so that we can be there for all of the great happenings on the 12th, as well as the 13th. So I just say that Gloria is setting a real example of what allies need to do in this period, is recruit to their branches. And that's how we will meet the strategic objectives that are shown in the chart. And so you will learn how not to be awkward or clumsy in working with people of color by being engaging with people of color. That is really how it works, because most folks see you trying, and I can tell you in the Deep South how happy Black people are when white people say, well, I want to participate. What can I do? When people come to the NAACP meetings, white people, and they say that, people are surprised, but the welcome is genuine. And so just be willing to step out and build the relationships is really key. And I'm just really impressed at how comfortable Gloria is at doing that as a person. And the way she reached out to me, I still think about that. And it's just a special thing about Gloria. And she's special in that way, even though I disagree with that strategy about building the Chicago branch. Gloria, I think as a person, you are one of the most genuine allies and the most comfortable of folks I have met who are doing this kind of work. And I just want you to know that, Gloria.
Oh,
I
well,
do
thank
see
you.
I do see
Okay.
you. I do
I
see you.
wasn't fishing for compliments, you know.
No, but I think
Poor
people
Sue, she's
should
there
know,
like, oh.
people should know and understand how it's done. And sometimes just pointing out an example is important, and you are that person. And thank you, Gloria. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Show up to the meeting early, stay late, and help clean up over and over. You keep showing up, people will notice. Sue.
I just wanted to say, sort of in the context of trying to recruit people, I did talk to African-American woman she's a member of our branch, but she hasn't participated. And I talked to her about it, and she's also president of the local NAACP. So she doesn't have time to add another thing to her list of stuff, but she did agree. She talked to me some about the things we could do as a branch to be more welcoming to people of color. And she also agreed we have a scholarship that we give every year. And she agreed to be part of the decision-making on that.
Cool.
Thanks for
Wonderful.
Very good.
Wonderful.
Okay. Let's see where we are. Okay. We're not doing too bad, but I want to talk about the Up South, Down South UN Decade No NATO Tour now, because we've got 20 minutes left and 30 minutes of stuff to cover. So Teresa, is there something you haven't told us that we need to know about?
Just briefly, in the context of our strategic objectives, it is a recruitment type tour, primarily for wealth, because the DMV branch, they had a wonderful meeting on Monday, and that branch in a year has the kind of welcoming diversity and inclusion that I never imagined could happen in DC overnight with the wonderful folks in the branch. So they agreed to endorse the tour. So at the event, we will certainly be there with materials joining Will. And then Tina Shelton is working on getting the venue, and she's committed to the tour stop in Philly. And with Jan's help, I hope that we can restart the New York City branch. And I've recruited a couple of people in Rhode Island, so it may be that we would have a Rhode Island branch there. And of course, the Boston branch already exists, and I'm working mainly with Massachusetts Peace Action. But I'm hoping that I can connect with the Boston Wealth branch along the tour route. So, in terms of the context of our strategic objectives, that is the connection of the tour, which we're calling sponsored by the Fannie Lou Hamer branch and the Southern Anti-Racism Network, because the Southern Anti-Racism Network has the checkbook and the credit card. So we're kind of paying for things, but we will be asking for tax-deductible donations along the route to help offset the cost of the tour. But it is strategically aimed at recruiting women to the global peace movement in the name of wealth. Thank you.
Teresa, aren't y'all putting together a flyer for this event?
Well, this week we're trying to nail down all of the venues. And once we know about the Rochester event, and I will get those details, because we added Rochester as a part of our tour stops, bringing it from 5 to 6. So we have the venue in DC. We almost have the venue in New York, and hopefully Tina will have gotten the church in Philly So it's just a matter of nailing down the venues by the end of this week. And once that's done, I have a couple of graphic artist people who will put together a poster, and then we'll start putting out the social media stuff, letting people know the time and locations of the various stops. And we're working on speakers lists and other endorsements along the route, but we're asking branches along the route to endorse. And so hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have all of the venues confirmed.
When that's ready, we can send it out to each of y'all, and you can share it around with people you know on the tour route. So one of the things on our agenda was questioning about the utility of the listserv. We intended that the listserv get more members active in it, and it be a place for discussion and possibly a bit of education, or at least awareness. It hasn't really served that purpose. It hasn't grown very much, and now you have to go through a lot to post on it. So anyone have ideas for alternatives or what we can do to improve it? Sue, you're muted. You're talking, but you're muted.
I don't understand why you can't post on it. I still don't understand it, because all I need to do is put in the title as to who the message is to, and it goes. So it's really odd. Gloria,
Well, you can email, but if you go to Rise Up List and you hit post, it gives you this message that you can't post there. And that's not originally. I could post on Rise Up. I could put a post in, and now we can't. I can't, at least.
Yeah, I guess I just think of it as an email list, and so I haven't tried to post on Rise Up.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm the only one who has problems. Is everybody else good with it? That's an easy, quick agenda item. It isn't serving its purpose, though. No one's asked to be added. I've sent out invitations to people, and they haven't accepted them. So recommendations? Gloria?
Well, oh, can you hear me? I don't remember if, oh,
Yes,
I'm not
I can hear you.
Okay. Well, we're going through a similar thing with the CCS proposed listserv, and it's a subcommittee, of Donna, how do you pronounce it? Peel? Donna Peel's AHR. Yeah.
Donna Peel.
Say it again?
Peel, like you peel banana.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Anyway, so, there are hurdles, and Darian is worrying about staff time and everything. But what we have is a stopgap is just the group in Gmail. And you can add as many people to a group. It could be 100 people in Gmail. The only thing is each person, when they get a mail, they have to reply all. And it can be almost as good as a listserv with a lot less trouble. All you have to remember is reply all. I created the group, and it's called CCS group, and I put everybody in that we have so far, and I can keep adding to it. Then they just need to reply all.
Thanks for that info. Teresa?
George, what I have observed over the years is that listservs are well used to the point of being annoying, or they aren't used much at all. And I think that for the work that we're doing in the culture of wealth as a whole, watching how little happens on the branches listserv, and when we had the all members discussion list, how little happened there. If the mechanics of the listserv can be repaired, I haven't tried to post to it. I don't know who's on it, but the idea, George, was that you and Sue would generate conversations on the listserv. So unless you're willing to do that kind of on a weekly basis, people will kind of forget that it exists. I think just waiting for people to start writing to the listserv without being prompted is a bit uh, um, asking too much. But the idea originally was that you and Sue would generate topics that would be part of the anti-racism transformation work. So unless that's done, I don't think many people are gonna engage with it. Most people are pretty busy in actual work, and people who have a tendency to want to talk on listservs are people who are overwhelmingly, in my view, men who like to hear the sound of their voices or like to write a lot. Because all of the listservs, like the peace in Ukraine, if you notice, it is overwhelmingly male dominated. And I find that most women are frankly too busy to spend a lot of time engaging in sheer conversation unless there's a topic that prompts them to do so. And I thought you and Sue were going to do that kind of on a weekly basis for 6 months at least. But that hasn't happened. And maybe it's been because of the mechanical problem that you talked about. But that was my expectation, is that you and Sue would use the listserv
I've posted about every 2 weeks to the listserv since the beginning and only gotten responses from a couple of y'all who are on the listserv and, on EDAC and BLC. The last time I think was, and I asked provocative questions. The last one was a video about, the GI Bill and how it was the foundation for wealth. And that's a very good one, but it didn't generate a lot. And I haven't done
said something. Yeah. I know I did.
I know you did.
Sue did too.
But maybe, maybe that's good enough. Maybe I'm just not very patient. I don't know. Sue, your hand was up. You took it down though. Well, you're muted, but you're shaking your head like you don't have anything to say.
Correct. I was just pointing out that you have been putting stuff up.
Oh yeah. And a lot of it is videos or articles, things I think and find provocative, thinking that somebody would have a response, maybe a provocative one. Yay, look at us at the end of our agenda. I am so happy. And I do have one of those provocative pieces I want to share. It's 4 minutes and 20 something seconds. So if we get done on time, we can be done on time. It's a video that reminds me of climate issues, and that's all. But when will we meet next? August, September? I can make a pitch for passing in August unless we have something coming up. Besides supporting the tour, looking on our activities list, well, there's the gathering. The gathering, I saw an agenda or an outline of it, and there's 2 days. The first day is just hearing from the board. What a snore. The board members are supposed to introduce themselves and take some time to describe what they do and why it's important and blah, 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 blah. I didn't see anything in that first day that was like, oh, this is awesome. This is going to build community and power. And then the second day is supposed to mostly be about members, but I can't remember the specifics about it. So that's all I know about the gathering. That's the 16th, 17th, or 17th, 18th, something like that. I'm sure I'll learn more at the board meeting. Teresa.
Well, George, I would appreciate us meeting at the end of August to kind of sum up all of these activities that are taking place between now and August of the 20th or so. And by the way, is the gathering going to be a virtual gathering.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think us meeting somewhere around Women's Equality Day, which is the 26th of August, would be most appreciative if we could set up a time for that, because quite a few things should have happened and gone well. We may have some new members and new branches and other things. So checking our progress in terms of the strategy chart on a monthly basis seems prudent to do. So
How
if we
about
could,
August 24th? It's a Thursday.
works for me.
Yeah.
I'll be on a train.
Oh, all day?
Yes, I'm going from Chicago to San Francisco
Oh my
all day
goodness.
on the 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Wow.
That's
How about,
ambitious.
yeah, it is. How about the 23rd?
Possibly.
Possibly.
Not sure where I
Gloria,
will be, but
the 23rd is a Wednesday in the evening. For me, that would have to be like, 7 or 8 o'clock at night, 4 or 5 for y'all. Robin, the 23rd at 7 or 8. Robin's in a car. She may have gotten home by now. Unless there's an objection, we're going to have a tentative Wednesday, the 23rd of August at 7 or 8 o'clock. We'll nail it down closer.
Works for me.
Cool, cool. All right, then. So I'm going to show y'all this video, which I think is very cool. It's not music.
Well, George, if you could post the video to the listserv so that if it's as great as you say, that's something to post to the listserv. Because I really want to hop off now. I
All
don't
right.
want to end the meeting with a video.
All right, no problem. And I don't know if it's great. I really like it. I don't know if other people will. So, it's 4 minutes and 23 seconds of your time. You get to decide. I'll put it with when I send this recording, you'll have it along. Many blessings, y'all. Bye.
thank you.
To you
Sure.
too. Take care.
Sure.
Be
See you
well.
soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.